Dan Illman, Mike Beer closing out the Whitney Day Saturday card at Saratoga with race number 12, the $200,000 Caress Stakes. Filly and Mare Turf Sprinters going 5.5 on the melon. Before we get to the analysis, please head on over to drf.com/spa for the Saratoga Handicapping Shop. PPs, picks, clocker reports, betting strategies, lots more. They're the must-have tools to win big. Saratoga. Here's the field for the $200,000 Caress Stakes, and it's kind of a wide open race on paper, Mike. The 7 Dalika, 3-1 on the morning line. She might be the horse to beat with the strongest late kick, but there isn't a ton of pace in here to set up for her.
Yeah, it feels like maybe she was a little bit compromised in her most recent race, which didn't set up great for her, and she had a little trouble getting clear. I do think she's probably the horse to be in here. I just feel like this is sort of a wide open kind of race, Dan. The two favorites are solid. I just felt like this race was open to some others, though.
Let's throw up the Timeform US Pace Projector. You'll note it's a blue bar scenario. In Timeform US parlance, that believes it'll favor horses on or near the early lead. I agree. The 5 Jacquard is basically a one-way speed, and I think she's going to get to the front rather easily. I guess the key to this race is what kind of speed we'll see, if any, from the 6 Mother, dropping in class and trying turf for the first time for Baffert.
Yeah, that could be key to the pace in this race. I mean, I just sort of looked at it and did feel like Jakarta, would certainly make the lead in here. I don't know if that makes her good enough to win this race, Dan, but I did feel like she could make the front.
You've had good luck with the number 1 Get Mother a Rose in the past. She is a graded stakes winner this year at Gulfstream Park. She won the Honey Fox just under a beautiful ride from Junior Alvarado. Go back and watch the replay and formulator. Junior makes all the right moves from start to finish in that race. Last time out in the license fee, she was beaten by I'll Handle the Cash, but she was one of those closers that just didn't have a lot of pace to run at.
Didn't have a lot of pace to run at. She also just didn't break that great from the gate for some reason, off very awkwardly to the back of the field. And then after that, Jose Lezcano just kind of put her on the rail, and she had to stay down there, never had a chance to get off of it. She was racing on, never a threat in there. I don't think that performance is as bad as it looks, Dan. We'll see what happens. Trips are very, very important to Get Mother a Rose. She's going to need a good one to beat this field, but I think she fits right in with these horses.
Let's watch that license fee. You scored that day with the 2 I'll Handle the Cash, who was able to get right up close to the pace. And as you can see, this race is running a driving rainstorm over a wet turf course. But I'll Handle the Cash was able to sit just off Miss Oramet, who was a bit overmatched. She got the jump on these horses turning into the lane. There's a big bomb chasing her. Finally, Dalika's going to spurt her way through in between horses, and she'll get up to second with a good run. The trip might have made all the difference for I'll Handle the Cash, but Mike, there's no saying she won't get another good one here. She has that kind of tactical ability.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, one of the big things to like about her. I mean, first of all, her turf sprint form is actually very good from start to finish. I mean, there are no real bad races on her card. She's just a really nice filly. And it does sort of feel like she's going to be in a similar situation here where she can get forward in a race without that much pace, probably sit right off Jakarta on the lead. And then if she just takes over at the top of the stretch, I just expect her to be really tough to run down once again, Dan. It feels kind of like last time might have been the time to have her. She was almost 5-1 coming off of a race at Churchill where she just had an impossible trip and got very unlucky. But I'm not going to be surprised when she just runs well right back in this spot.
Interesting spot off the long layoff for our next entrant, the 3 Sweet By and By, 6-1 back in the Tony Dutrow barn. This horse won 5 of her first 6 races, and she has some credentials. She was graded stakes placed last year at Belmont, but that race was around 2 turns, and I wonder if this 5.5 off the layoff, A, is a little sharp, and B, is a stepping stone for something longer down the road.
We'll see if it's just the starting off point. That certainly could be the case here. This filly, to me, or this mare, I guess, she has as much talent as anybody in this field. Whether she wants to sprint or not, I don't know. You will notice that last year they brought her back off the layoff at Belmont going 6. They sprinted her. She fought all the way around the track and just got nailed by Alexandra at the end of that race. She ran really well that day. And if she runs that well in this spot, she could beat this field.
She certainly has the credentials, and she's 6-1 on the morning line. Introduced as the 4. She's won 3 out of her last 4 races. Now, Introduced has been plying her trade on the Mid-Atlantic circuit. Here's a win at Delaware Park last time out, going 5/8 of a mile. And Introduced was the big favorite in this race. She was supposed to win. She does not disappoint. She gets it done on the outside in professional and solid fashion. Now, she'll probably have to do better against these tougher horses, but she's been a consistent runner throughout her career, and she can adapt adapt to any kind of pace situation.
Yeah, I think those are all positives for her. This is not an easy spot for this filly. She's going to, in all likelihood, have to improve to win, but she's very tactical. I can see her getting a really good trip in this race. Her 2 wins so far this year, she's just beaten up on weaker horses. It's going to be harder in here, but she could get a good trip in this race. She's not bad at all, and she's going to be a price.
10-1 on the morning line for the 5, Jakarta, who has lots of angles in her favor. She's going after Michael Maker, who's just been on an absolute tear. And you can argue she's a little bit dirtied up. She won her turf debut for Maker off the layoff when she was able to just get to an easy early lead against much weaker horses. But then she won it off the turf race. She had no match against Newspaper of Record. She had no chance in that field over that yielding turf course. Newspaper Record's one of the top 10 turf fillies and mares in the country. And then last time out, she ran a graded stakes race on the dirt. I would not sell this horse short, especially if the Timeform US pace projector is correct.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if she can just, sort of make her way to an easy lead here, and that'll be all she wrote. I just felt like she was a really tough read, Dan. When she won first time out for Maker back at Gulfstream Park, they just walked on the lead of there. I mean, you just can't go any slower than she went. And I know that she's probably making the lead in here, but I just didn't see any way that I'll Handle the Cash lets her go that slow.
Can Mother handle the turf? That's the question for this race. She had no chance against Monomoy Girl last time out. She was completely overmatched, and now she gets the drop in class she needed. It looked like she had turned the corner towards the end of her 3-year-old campaign. 3 consecutive Beyer speed figures in the mid-90s. But her last 3 races, I think she's underperformed in each and every one. And now trying the turf, to me, it seems like they're trying to do anything to wake her up.
Yeah, I don't like this move either. I was actually, I wanted to give her excuses for the races 2 and 3 back because she didn't start well in either of those races. I realized that she wasn't going to beat Monomoy Girl last time, but she was pretty dreadful in that race. She didn't run well at all. It feels like turf is maybe a little bit of desperation here for Baffert.
We saw Dalika charge from in between horses to finish second in the license fee last time out, and that's what she is. She is a one-run closing sprinter. She is a very deserving contender in this race, but if she gets a little bit shorter than what she is on the morning line 3-1, I might want to try to play against her because she might have a lot to do turning into the lane.
Yeah, that's the real question with her is the race going to set up the right way, and will she get a clean run this time? Because obviously she didn't get a clean run in that license fee last time. She still ran well in that race. I thought she did look good winning at Churchill 2 starts back when the first time they cut her back in distance. I mean, she makes a lot of sense in here. I think in a lot of ways she is the horse to beat, but there are certainly questions about her at a short price.
Saratoga Treasure is the number 8. She has the same running style as Dalika as a one-run closer. She put up a big fig 3 back in the Autumn Days Stakes, a 92 Beyer over Yielding Going, where she made this big wide move on the turn and blew him away. This will be her 3rd start of the form cycle, and maybe she's running herself back into shape. Let's watch her most recent race, the Hessenite against New York Breds, going 3/4 of a mile. And we're going to see Saratoga Treasure come with her usual run. She'll end up finishing 3rd in this race. I don't know, Mike. This was another race where it was controlled up front. She didn't have a lot of pace to run at, and you can make an excuse for her. If you can say that 92 Beyer is for real and she is running back into form, she has a puncher's chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, she's going to be a price in this race. I can't sit here and say that I love her in this race, but I don't think she's impossible at all. She really had no chance last time. They crawled on the early lead in there. She actually did really well to almost get second at the end.
Kariba, the number 9, might be the now horse in this race. She's very lightly raced, and she's coming into her own. We talked about Michael Maker being red hot. Christophe Clement just on fire right now. Let's watch Kariba's win at Belmont. First time off of a short layoff, going 3/4 of a mile. Now, she got a really nice trip early here. Joel Rosario got her into the pocket, but they were in a little bit tight turning into the stretch, and Joel had to alter course to the outside. But once he does, Kariba just runs right past this Peaceful with ease.
Yeah, just overpowers this horse in the last 16th of a mile. She ran really well in here. I do think she's a dangerous horse in this race. And she's another one, Dan. I wouldn't be surprised if she got herself into a pretty good early position here. I struggled with her a little bit in this race, only for 2 reasons. First of all, I think it is a pretty tough spot and certainly tougher than the last one. Peaceful's okay, but I'm not a big fan of that horse. So I'm not giving Kariba too much credit for running that horse down. And I also just feel like she could take money in this race. And I don't think I would want a short price on this horse.
You're a little bit of a fan of the 10 Miss Gossip. She ran really well in the Smart and Fancy last year. It was a race where she fell far behind early. She got the nice split and she came through with a run. She just couldn't get to, Alexandra was just too much running from the back of the pack that day. But I thought Miss Gossip ran really, really well. Now, since then, maybe she hasn't gotten back to that race, but she's only run twice this year. Another issue is she's a closer. She's got the same running style as Saratoga Treasure, the same running style as Dalika, and arguably a worse post.
Yeah, and she's not really a winning type either. I find myself thinking that I would use her underneath for sure in this race at a big price. You know, she did run well in the Smart and Fancy last year, and before that, they ran her in this race, the Caress, off of a layoff. She ran deceptively well that day too, Dan. This filly's a little bit underrated.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Caress Stakes, the final race on the Saturday afternoon Whitney card. I think I'll Handle the Cash can take another. I think she's got tactical speed. There's not a ton of pace in this race. I think she's going to sit just off of Jacquard, and we'll see if Jacquard is good enough. I think she's going to get the jump on horses like Get Mother a Rose and Dalika. I want to use Kariba. I think she's got a lot of upside potential, so I'm going to lean 2-9, and you don't have those horses anywhere.
Yeah, but I'm not against I'll Handle the Cash really in any way, shape, or form. She's just a horse that I liked last time and didn't feel like going back to her at a shorter price in this race, but she can obviously win. I just wanted a price, Dan. I think Get Mother a Rose makes a lot of sense from a lot of different directions, and it's going to be a price.
Nice class move for Get Mother a Rose. She fits well at this level. Graded stakes winner this year. 1473 for Mike, 2973 for me. It's the $200,000 Caress. Race number 12 at Saratoga on Whitney Saturday has an approximate post time of 7:22 Eastern. Good luck.